Welcome to Paul Academy, where stories are not just told, but experienced. Tonight, we bring you a tale that drifts between history and something far more unsettling. A story where the past refuses to remain buried. Close your eyes, if you wish, and listen carefully, because some stories do not end even after 100 years. This is Indigo, a century of echoes. The year was the 1960s. Aniruddha Bose, 29, educated, rational, modern in every sense. By profession, an advertising executive. By inclination, a writer. But lately, his thoughts had begun to drift, not toward the future, but into the shadows of the past. He had developed a deep and persistent fascination with the history of indigo plantations in Bengal and Bihar. He read about them obsessively, the British planters, their power, their cruelty, and the peasants, their suffering, their silent endurance. It disturbed him, yet it drew him closer, as if something unseen was pulling him in. What he did not know was that history was preparing to pull him inside it. One evening, he set out on a drive. Leaving behind the crowded streets of Calcutta, he moved toward the quiet openness of the countryside. The sky was clear, the road almost empty. Everything felt calm. Until it wasn't. Without warning, the sky darkened, not slowly, but violently. A sudden storm rose, fierce, unpredictable, the kind that arrives without invitation and leaves destruction behind. Rain began to fall, then lash, then roar. The wind howled, lightning tore across the sky like something alive. And then everything stopped. 2 tires blown, the car useless, and Aniruddha alone. The rain poured relentlessly, visibility almost gone, no sign of life, no shelter in sight. And then, through the blur of water, he saw it. A structure, faint, broken, standing like a forgotten memory. A house. Drawn by necessity, or perhaps by something else, he made his way toward it. Inside, a man stood waiting. Sukanram, the caretaker. He spoke little, but his presence felt oddly expected. The house was old, very old. Its walls carried the weight of time. Its silence felt unnatural. And then came the detail that changed everything. This had once been the residence of a British indigo planter, and the factory ruins were still there, nearby. Night fell. The storm disappeared as suddenly as it had come, leaving behind a silence too complete. Aniruddha lay down, but sleep refused to come. Then, in the stillness, he heard it. A sound, deep, long, filled with sorrow. A hound. His eyes opened. Something was wrong. He reached for his watch. It was gone. His belongings gone. And then he noticed His clothes, they were not his own. He moved, almost without control, toward a mirror and looked. The face staring back at him was not Aniruddha Bose. It was someone else. A man from another time, pale, blonde, with eyes that carried something cold and distant. His body no longer obeyed him. His hand moved, picked up a pen, and began to write. April 27th, 1868. The words flowed, not from him, but through him. A confession, a dying man's account. He was alone, stricken by disease, surrounded by those he had wronged. They were coming, closer and closer. But his fear was not for himself. It was for his dog, Rex, faithful, innocent, unaware of what was to come. He stepped outside, moonlight, pale and silent. The dog approached him, trusting, loving. He called its name softly, Rex. And then he raised the gun. For a moment, everything stood still. And then it was over. Voices rose in the distance, angry, relentless, closing in. He turned, returned inside, his steps unsteady, his fate sealed. In the silence of his room, he lifted the gun once more and placed it against his head. Darkness. Light returned, soft, warm, real. A knock at the door. Morning had come. Sukhanram stood outside, with tea. Aniruddha sat up, breathing heavily, alive, himself again. His watch was back. Almost instinctively, he looked at the date. April 28th. Exactly 100 years after that night. He had not imagined it. He had not dreamed it. He had lived it. Some stories are not written in books. They are written in time. And sometimes they wait for someone to remember. Thank you for listening to Paul Academy. Stay with us for more stories where literature comes alive.